Hey guys, here we go, live on Monday, and a great time. I have my foot up here a little bit because I went to the gym and I sprained my ankle my leg a little bit, so I'm trying to rest it like this. Don't feel comfortable really, but maybe like this you could see everything. So
looks good, Sammy.
Looks good.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday to everybody. And you know what? Let's get started right away. There was, ones that we didn't answer that we do first. So let's go.
Great, thanks, Sammy. Okay, we're gonna start out with some shout outs. Michael Ferreira, Johnny's Roof, and Cheryl Coram from last week. Those were weekly envelopes for you. And with the questions, we have Larry Lapper. Did John approve the attempt on Casso?
The attempt on Casso?
Yes.
I don't know what that means. What attempt? What kind of an attempt?
Well, Larry, you're going to have to elaborate. So another question for you. Okay, Billy Curtis. D-Day being June 6th, obviously last week. What did your parents say during World War II?
During World War II. I remember it distinctly. I was in her belly, I think. I was just born, so I really have no idea what they were saying. I think they were trying to make another kid, I think, and I was being bumped around. It sounded like a war, but I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. We have For the Dream. Sammy, any historically accurate mob movies in the making? Family member from South Carolina just checking in.
I hear there may be a few. I think Michael Franchise, I think, said that he's doing one. I'm not sure if that's what he said. I think he said that. I think something about John Gotti, another John Gotti movie. I think they're making, and there's my movies that I'm working on. There's somebody's talking to me about my scripted show, similar to The Sopranos, but it's based on a lot of truth. And the movie with the Johnny Keys hit, they're really calling that one of the most notorious hits that ever took place. I didn't look at it like that back then, but the more I talk about it, the more I analyze it, it really was an insane type of hit, and it was probably one of the biggest and well-done hits ever done. So that's going to be a movie as well. So other than that, I really don't know about, fiction movies and stuff like that yet. I'm waiting like you are.
Great. Johnny's Roof asks, do you think Jews and Italians behave similar?
No, I don't think they behave similar, but I know for a fact, I grew up in a neighborhood that was predominantly Italian with a lot of Jews, that we got along very, very well. We had the balls, they had the brains, so we made a good combination. But I don't think we handle ourselves the same way.
Okay. So this is a kind of, they relate to the same question. Dean Maloney last week asked, hey, Sammy, have you got any Danny Green stories? And Aussie Wolfhound said, Sammy, the person who mentioned Danny Green earlier was talking about Danny Green from Cleveland, who was Irish and went head-to-head with the mob in the 70s. Do you have any dealings with him?
No dealings whatsoever. But I think I saw a movie one time about this guy who he went head-to-head. I think they blew him up in a car or something. If that's the same movie I'm thinking of, they talked about him. He went head-to-head. He was a big guy, tough guy. And I think they blew him up in a car, if I remember the movie right.
Okay. We have Wolf Crew. Have you ever met Tokyo Joe, a.k.a. Ken Ito from Chicago?
No, I think I tried to date Tokyo Rose, his girlfriend or wife or whoever she was, but never met him. I never wound up with Tokyo Rose, but I didn't meet him either.
Okay. Goomba asks, hey Sammy, any dealing with Youngstown Mafia?
Who?
Youngstown Mafia.
No dealings with them, Goomba.
Okay. Elgato says, Sammy, salute. Why did wise Don Carlo pick Paul Castellano for boss? He must have known he was not fit for it.
There's a couple of answers for that. First of all, they were brother-in-laws. That's number one. Number two, when they were going to kill Carlo Gambino years before, and Paul Castellano stepped to the plate. He was a captain, and actually pulled him out of it. He actually saved him. So they had a good relationship. He trusted his intelligence. The only thing is that Paul was very, very smart, no two ways about it, but he was more of a racketeer, and he went towards the money. You got to go with the gangsters as well. And if they're broke, you got to try to help them. You're sending them out to do the dirty work. You can't ignore them. When you start ignoring them, you're going to build resentment. And that's what Paul did. That was his big mistakes. He really made some mistakes at the end. But I guess Carlo Gambino had him close to him most of his life. Like I said, they were brother-in-laws, and they helped each other. So he had confidence in him. You know, you never know. After you're dead and the guy takes over, he made a lot of mistakes, Paul.
Okay, great. Rem B says, Sammy, what's your favorite food, meats or pasta?
Without a question, pasta.
Okay. Ryan Brown asks, Sammy, were there any guys in the life who looked really unassuming but had bodies? Any guys get made that had you shaking your head and ask why?
Well, when you say bodies, I assume, you know, he looked like a very meek guy, and he had bodies, meaning a lot of murders. There was some guys like that. You know, Roy DeMeo wasn't, you know, there's pictures of him. You can look at the pictures. He didn't look as evil as he was. So that was a little shocking. And what was the other part of that question?
If any of the guys that got made, did any of them have you shaking your head like, why? How did they possibly get made?
Yes. Louis DeBona was a guy who just did not belong. I wound up, there's stories about him, you heard them. And I heard that his father originally was a made guy way back in the days, and I heard he had paid way back then $50,000 to get his son made, Louis DeBono. And look what happened. The guy wasn't a fit for the life, and he wound up getting killed. And he screwed all kinds of people. He was a misfit. He didn't belong.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to give you the other thing, and I'm not saying that John Gotti Jr. is a misfit, but him himself, with his own words, said he didn't belong in the life. He went to school. He went to military school. His father should have left him alone. Maybe he would have been a colonel or something in the military. You can't just because he's your son bring him in. And his own words said that he didn't belong. So I feel John Gotti wasn't a fit, John Gotti Jr., and it was his own words. So I'm not knocking him in any way. I think, you know, he's pretty tough with his hands. But yeah, there are guys who got into life who didn't belong.
Okay. We have Kay Spatz. Did you know Nick Spattarella from the Shalimar on Staten Island? That's my dad, Nicky Papers.
Yeah, I knew the Shalimar and Staten Island, great place. I didn't know your dad. It doesn't ring a bell, Nicky Papers, but it was a great place. There was a lot of events over there. Mob guys went there. So I'm sure he was a good guy. He was affiliated with mobsters. If he was one himself, I don't know for sure. I don't know him. But it was a great place.
Great, thank you. We have Kadir. I read that without you and DeChico, Gotti couldn't get the stamp from the Brooklyn Gambinos. They didn't respect or mess with John in Brooklyn. Is that right?
Oh, that's so true. Listen, it's not only in Brooklyn and Bensonhurst, that's for sure. But Frankie DeChico had a reputation throughout the whole city of New York, the whole state. Frankie was a beast, him and his family. So that would have been a tremendous problem. I would have been a problem because I had a good crew, shooters. He couldn't have went against me and Frankie and everybody else he was about to go against. It needed a force that would be able to repel, a sizable enemy. So that's the families, the Irish mob, the Westies, different people, and I think that Frankie filled that void.
Great. Mark Cole. Hey, Sammy, can you speak on Vic Amuso?
Yeah, Vic Amuso was the boss of the Lucchese family for a while. He's still in prison. I believe he's still alive. Gaspipe was his underboss. Tough guy. And he went away a long time ago. He's been in a very, very long time. All the people they're letting out on these pardons for health reasons, up in age. He's up in age, obviously. He's older than me. And maybe they should let him out too. But yeah, I had a lot of transactions with him and his underboss, Gaspipe.
Ryan Brown asks, Sammy, Jerry, I think it's Anguilo, paid $50,000 to Raymond Patriarca for his button. Could a guy get made in New York with a hefty envelope like that?
Not in the day and age when I was around. No, you couldn't pay your way in. It happened years and years and years ago. I don't know if it happens now, but no, you couldn't. That would never work.
Okay. Cool. Last one. JB Weld. Still waiting on my One-Eyed Pete garbage guy story, Sammy. Salute.
Now, One-Eyed Pete, I would imagine you're talking about Peter Igor Gotti.
Sloth from Goonies.
So, yeah, there is a lot of stories about him. Listen, the guy was a sanitation worker, and that's no knock to sanitation workers. I knew a lot of guys, even when I was in the Rampers, who were sanitation workers, tough guys, good guys, hard workers. He was a sanitation guy. But that doesn't mean you were a tough guy and you were a sanitation guy that you should be in the mafia. Peter was a guy who didn't fit. We just talked about that. Didn't fit, didn't belong. And John made him, because he got in trouble, from making a maid guy, then a captain. Then he was, I don't know, they actually voted him in as the boss for a little while. Another guy completely did not fit. So Igor was, he could have made movies, horror movies, maybe.
Call him Igor.
Yeah.
Quasimodo. Okay, JB Weld. Oh, that was it. That was the last one. So, real quick, before I pass it over to Anna, 2 quick shout outs. One for Juan Tapia. Thank you for your envelope. And Vita Exchange first super chat. Give them shout outs.
Thank you so much. I love you guys. I appreciate everything you're doing. So I'm going to raise myself up a little bit.
Anna, over to you, my dear.
Thank you, Amina. Sammy, I wanted to read you this really cool comment that came in from the rthing.tv platform in your inbox. It says, I love this site, Sammy. I am a 67-year-old retired nurse. I listened to the Table in the Back interviews and felt such peace and comfort. I need to hear common sense and respect for God and humanity. I am lonely, and listening to older adults discuss the life and the destruction of our countrymen, being men, the border crisis, and our demonic governing officials gives me some hope. I remember you told of the time you were in the hole. You wouldn't let the hand of that nurse go because you were so lonely. And she got teary-eyed because of how you were being treated. And I'm glad she was there for you. Retired nurse Mary Ellen.
Well, thank you, Mary Ellen. I really appreciate that. And yeah, that was a hell of a story. I never forgot that. Her kindness was so important, especially at that time in my life. And I respect all nurses and people who are in the field that help people. I love them all. So, and I hope you have a great continuing life. And if you're that lonely and you want to visit me, bro, no. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I'm not flirting. So I'll stop. All right.
Thank you, Sammy. Jeremy Mann with the super chat. Would love to hear how Sammy's workers found out about the mob or the mafia, or if they knew about it before starting to work with Sammy, how they learned about Sammy as well.
Well, in the construction business, I think everybody knew who I was. It didn't bother them at all. Matter of fact, they liked it. They knew we were getting work, and I treated my workers good all the time. Amina, when I met Amina, she was in the bank, working in the bank a while ago, so it didn't bother her to come to work. Anna, we have history in my family, and her son and my grandson, and we have history. I won't talk about...
Spider? They're calling him Spider now.
No, they call him Spider. He don't like that term. He don't like that term. So anyway, it never seemed to bother anybody. Somebody might have come in with my... they calling me all kinds of different things, and I'm not a serial killer. People said that. I'm a hit guy. I was a hit guy. And, but once they meet, I'm a people's person. I love talking with people. I love doing this. Talking to you guys. I mean, I don't care. It's part of my life now. Monday, YouTube Live. So, and answering the questions. I enjoy the questions. The exchanges, the conversations. To me, it's interesting. It's good. So I really don't have problems. I mean, I moved in when I first got out of prison. I went to live in my daughter's house. People saw me. They recognized who I was. And they probably said, oh, shit, here goes the neighborhood. But they wired up loving me. When I moved out of there, so many of them came to my house. I mean, one of the neighbors came to me. I told her story once with a stew in a bowl. So I said, why would you want to give me that? She says, I see you're alone. And I figured, I cooked it. Why, you man? No, I would love it. But I appreciated it. But that's how I get with the neighborhood after a while. I get to know the people. I'm sociable. Lily goes out there. She makes friends with everybody. Everybody loves her. Matter of fact, some of the neighbors over here, Christmas time, gave Lily dog treats. Remember? Christmas time, Anna's laughing, but dog treats and stuff. So I get along with everybody. So...
Facts. Corrupt Mayor 94 in your super chat, Sammy. Hey, Sammy, salute from Canada. Did you, John, or Joe Piney know anything about Carmine Persico's hit on William Ehrenwald, the prosecutor, before it was carried out in '87? The hitters messed up and killed his father instead.
You want to know something? I did hear of that murder. Yes, I heard of it. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the guy, Frankie Smith, I did time with, I think he did that murder. I'm not sure, but I shouldn't label him with the hit because I'm not sure. But I did hear about the murder. They both had the same exact name, and they hit the wrong one. What they hit? They hit the father instead of the son. Yeah, and I heard about that. I have no involvement in it, but I heard about it.
Thank you, Sammy. Juan Tapia with a nice envelope for you. No comment, no question.
Great. Thank you so much.
Mike Blackwell. What's up, Sammy? Did you do any work with A-Light or have any stories you can share about him?
No, I didn't even know him on the street. I heard of him, and when I came out of prison, I didn't know him in prison, on the streets. I got to know him when I came out of prison.
Thank you. JB Weld, hey JB, thank you for the super chat. Anything you can say about Tommy Agro? He sounded like a vicious guy.
Tommy Agro was a very dangerous guy. I mean, he had a little bit of a reputation that he overdid. If he gave somebody a beating, he just overdid it a little bit. Sometimes, you win a fight or it's over. Let the guy up. You won. He would continue beating him or something. He had a reputation like that. I'm not into that. I'll be honest with you. I don't respect that. If you beat up a guy, you beat him up, you give him a slap, he was out of line or something, that's enough. There's no reason to go overboard. If anybody ever gave me a beating and you're going to go overboard and do all that crazy shit, you better kill me because I'll come back at you. The thing with Lucky, I think people will love this. Lucky Luciano got a name. They gave him, there was a hit on him. And they were told to beat him to death. Don't shoot him, beat him to death. And they beat him up so bad in the car. They were doing 30, 40 miles an hour. They opened the door. They threw him out, bouncing around the street. They thought he was dead, but he didn't die. He killed the people who beat him up. He killed everybody involved who gave the orders and every other fucking body. So that's the answer to those things. If you're going to do something, nobody regrets. I've fought in the ring a little bit. I've fought everywhere. It's a fight. I win, I lose, I lose. I don't want to cripple the guy. I don't want to, unless there's a vendetta in there, there's some heavy reason. I don't want to go overboard with it. There's a couple of times I hit somebody and I almost knocked him out. He wobbled around. I didn't even throw another punch or kick him or do anything. So I don't believe in that. You're going to make a name for yourself like that. I think it's a horrible name to make. Unless you have something, he raped your wife, he did something crazy, then bust every bone in his body. But unless it's a crazy reason, you don't have to go overboard.
Yeah. To piggyback on that, we had a comment from Joey Villapondo, and he asked if you watched the Gotti and Mayweather.
I did. It was, somebody asked me the other night, who do you think is going to win? And I said, if it's in a boxing ring, hands down, Mayweather's going to win. He's a professional boxer. There's no match. Now, if it was in a cage fight, that's how Gotti Jr. Fights in a cage. He looks like a very big kid, tough kid, strong kid. He would have had a shot, but not in the boxing ring. Mayweather's too fast, too smart. He's too good at his trade. And it was more for hype and bullshit. And they probably both made money. And then I understand that, I saw the end. He yelled at him. Somebody was saying a couple of words back and forth. I don't know what they were saying, but he ran at Mayweather. You lost the fight, bro. The fight is over. You made money. You got a little bit of a name for yourself. Running over, you made a fool of yourself. Number one. Number two, I see that some of the women in Gotti's family want to fight Mayweather's daughter or somebody. I said, come on, bro, grow up. It was a fight. He's made money. Walk away from it. I mean, you're taking it from, and it's not a real fight. It would, what would be a real fight? Me and Mayweather. I will fight his ass. That would be a real fight. I mean, I don't know if he could run away from me or he could.
Would that be your celebrity pick if you could do a big boxing match with somebody?
Yeah, I would do that, but not with Mayweather. He's too tough. I'm joking about fighting him, but I would fight somebody who's 80 years old, maybe, as a celebrity fight. Somebody who is like half crippled or something, I'll fight him.
Xavier James in the super chat, how do you think your crew felt when you ordered them on their first murder? Were they nervous or jumpy at all?
My guys were good as gold. They were true tough guys, in and out. You know, the first I got this guy Huck with me, and his brother-in-law, somebody was dealing drugs. We were young. I don't think I was even made then. His brother-in-law was a drug dealer. He was holding his money and whatever, pot. It wasn't drugs, it was pot. And so we said, let's make a thing, make believe you got robbed, and somebody robbed you. And he was afraid to do it. So I called him down. He was with Sammy, and I said, listen, Huck, do it. If your brother-in-law gives you static, we'll kill him, all right? He looked at it, he was petrified. But we did the robbery, and he stood up, and then he went on work with me. But everybody else, Sammy was a real, true tough guy, Peruta. All the guys with me were real tough guys, Nicky Cowboy, even Mike the Bat, he was a football player. He came back, quit football to defend his family. I took care of him, became loyal to me. My crew was for real. They don't go around, none of that bully shit, none of savage shit. But if you had a trouble with my crew, it was known. You had a fucking headache. All my guys did work. Now, there was a couple of guys I had around me who didn't do work, and I didn't take them. I didn't feel that that was their cup of tea, and I didn't take them on work. You know, but if I knew they had balls. Louis Melito was my friend, and then with me eventually. He was a vicious fuck, a dangerous guy. But the whole crew was like that. And we were together. They weren't nervous. They did what they had to do, every single one of them. And if I would have saw any kind of, nervousness or something like that, I would have said no. I had a guy with me, my driver, Louis Cicenti. I had put him in to become a made guy, and then I withdrew it. So John Gotti asked me, why did you withdraw his name? I said, he's never done a piece of work, and I'm afraid he's not that kind of guy. If he's ordered to do a piece of work in the life, you have to do it, or you'll be killed. And I'm afraid if I'm not around and he's ordered to do a piece of work and he doesn't do it, he's going to get killed. I don't think it's his thing, so I withdraw in his lane. And he said, Sammy, that's classy. That's good. That's the right thing. The guys have got to fit. And that's the way I carried myself. John thanked me for it. And I think he got made years later after I was gone. But, my crew was a solid crew.
Nice. Thank you, Sammy. JB Weld, back in the super chat. Sammy, what was your thoughts on your Diane Sawyer interview? Did you think she did you fairly?
Yeah, I really, really like Diane Sawyer. She was great. I'm going to tell you something. She's probably going to take a fucking fit for me saying this. There was a producer, her producer, Lisa Soloway, and she had to go to the bathroom on a shoot. We took a break. She went to the bathroom, and Diane said, I know you like to joke. You want to play around a little bit? So I said, yeah, okay. What do you want me to do? She says, when we come back, everybody's going to get the cameras ready. I'm going to say roll. The cameras, everything will look like it's on, but it's not. And I'm going to ask you, what made you do this interview? And you say something funny with Lisa Soloway. Sexually funny? Yeah, do that. So I said, all right. So I was sitting back. She came back, and everybody put the lights on, did this, did that. All right. They brought that thing, the clapper right in front of you. All right, rolling, 1, 2, 3, roll. So Diane Sawyer says, she looks me square in the eyes, what made you do this interview? And I said, well, Lisa Soloway got in touch with me, and then we went down to, talk about it. And she had sex with me, and I did it. Lisa Soloway jumped up right in the middle of the interview. She's a fucking liar. I didn't do it. So that's how Diane Sawyer was great. We went to dinner one night after a shoot, and one of her security people told me to sit at another table because now we were outside. They were afraid if there's a shooting or something. They were protecting her, which they're supposed to do. I had a crew of FBI agents, was my security, so I said, okay, I'll sit with them. No problem. When I was walking away, she said, Sammy, where you going? I said, your security team thinks it's better if I sit over there with them. So just, no, she says, somebody was sitting next to her. She told the person to get up, and she made me sit right next to her. She ordered a steak like this thick. She was great, talking, laughing. She was really, really great. And then when I was in prison years later, she would say at the end of her broadcast, "Good night, Sam." So guys in prison said, "Did you get along with her? It looked like you had a good rapport with her." "Yeah, I really did." I said, "We're still friends." And they said, "No, you're kidding." "Yeah." I said, "You see when she winds up at the end of the thing and she says, 'Good night, Sam'? Who do you think she's talking to?" She was doing it to Sam Donaldson. He was a reporter. But, oh my God, she's saying good night to you? Yeah. Oh yeah, she does it all the time. I would break balls. So she was great. No, I had a great interview with her. I still have respect for her. When I did this last interview with, she's a big boss now, and she greenlit it and sending me regards, and she's really a great person. So I did get along with her.
Legendary.
She's legendary. I love her. She's so good.
It was so legendary that, Sammy, can you tell your viewers where to find that picture right behind you? It's from your Diane Sawyer interview.
Where you find it?
Yeah, where they can buy it, autographed, and there's a holographic sticker that Sammy puts on it after he signs it, so it's verified and authenticated.
Right.
Authenticated.
And that's that. I was with Diane Sawyer when I took that picture, so that was a great picture, and I'm standing there with a cigar. I don't know where it is.
It's right behind you.
It's right behind me?
There you go. Yep.
All right, that picture was with Diane Sawyer.
Yeah, find it at the shop, guys, on SammyTheBull.com or ourthing.tv.
Right.
And the baseball, too, right above him. Collectibles.
Right.
Tyler Smith with his weekly envelope for you, Sammy. Shout out to Tyler.
Thank you, Tyler.
Also, Ryan Brown asked, Sammy, what was the family relationship between Angelo Ruggiero and Neil De La Croce?
They said he was a nephew or cousin or something like that. I don't believe it. I never believed it. You know, Angelo was the one who was close with Neil more than John. Then John got more close with him. I don't know. I always said it was his nephew or some shit or another. I don't know if that was true or not. You know. Mm-hmm. But I heard that. You know.
Yeah. Sammy, I had a question that I actually wanted to ask you. Patrick Bet-David and Andrew Tate, he was doing his big interview with Andrew Tate this morning on Valuetainment, and it really pinged me after, you recorded the Bob Hood interview. Andrew Tate said something like, your thought process is so different when you're imprisoned, that we're so convenient out here. We just have instant gratification for answers, for information,
Right.
We have a thought, we get an answer right away. We can talk to somebody, we can Google something. Andrew Tate said that when he was in prison, the thoughts were his thoughts were the hardest process that he went through. Can you tell us about what that's like?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you could think of something in prison, so you can't do research, you can't Google things, you can't. So you're stuck with a question, you're stuck with it. Out here, you go to, Google it. There's so many things. You go to a computer. Somebody knows how to use computers and stuff like that. In 2 minutes, you get an answer. In prison, you're stuck with that thought for God knows how long. I mean, you could ask a couple of people, but if they don't know, you're stuck with that question. And, you brought up this kid, Andrew Tate. I happen to like him. I really like him. I respect him. I like him. He has great thoughts. He talks great. I think he talks great about men and women, the country, everything. He talks truthful. Now, I'm sure it bothers a lot of people Now, they did everything to shut him up. They took him off all the channels. They put him in jail for a while. The girls who said, whatever they said, then they got caught on tape admitting that they were lying, so they had to let him out. Patrick McDavid is a friend of mine as well. He's a great interviewer. I didn't see it yet, but I'm going to watch it. It's got to be a great interview. But I like that kid, Andrew Tate. I like Patrick. I did Mafia States of America with him and a few other. You know that with Patrick McDavid, I did an interview, my first interview that I've ever did in social media. It surpassed 19 million views, more than anybody he ever did an interview with. I think I'm number one. So that's 19 million views. And I was called just recently. Me and you were going to go down there. I was going to do an interview with that woman. What's her name?
Jebediah,
yeah. I was going to do an interview with her, but I was sick. I got the flu, so we didn't go. But Patrick's a great guy. Yeah. But I really like this kid, Andrew. I don't think he's a kid, but I like him a lot.
I think you guys drink the same amount of coffee every day. He drinks about 10 to 15.
I heard him say that. I said I drink the same amount. Me and him would go to. We need a coffee factory if we're together.
And the nicotine. He said he lives off nicotine. You guys are the same person. I swear. One meal a day, coffee and nicotine.
No, I tell you, he's a smart kid. I tell you, he talks the truth, and it makes sense if you listen to him. You get mad at him right away. He says a lot of crazy things, but he's right on the money to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Super chat from Sodan2324. Hi, Sammy. Hope all is well. Can you please tell us about Ronnie One Arm and his crew? And what were you and John saying and thinking about when you heard about the couple, Tom and Rose, UVA, robbing the Mafia social clubs? That's a whole big question, Sodan2324, so we're going to take it in chunks. Ronnie One Arm and his crew.
Ronnie One Arm, I think he was born without an arm at birth. When you're born like that, you seem that your body gets used to it. So he was able to play ball. He was a tough guy. He was a shooter. Tough guy. No question about it. And he was in Nicky Carrazzo's crew. So he was the real deal. But he had one arm. He's handicapped. And he did everything he had to do, so it didn't slow him down. And what was the other part of the question?
What were you and John saying and thinking about when you heard about the couple Tom and Rose robbing the Mafia social clubs?
Well, the conversations are, these people are going to get killed. As soon as they know who they are, as soon as they could find out where they are, they're going to get killed. Especially if you're robbing Mafia clubs, you're out of your mind. You're going to get killed. They're not going to fight. You come in, they come on with a gun. Here, take the money. But they're going to come after you. As soon as they locate where you go, where you stay, where you live, you're going to get hit. They're not going to allow shit like that to happen.
Thank you. J. Marie in the super chat. Sammy, this Johnny Keys hit movie can be the pilot to a series if you get the right showrunner. There's a guy named Terrence Winter who is actually from your neighborhood. You should look into him, bro.
I know Terrence Winter. I know who he is. He's a writer. His wife is a writer. He's a huge writer. I was going to do something. There was my friend and this other cop, Michael Vecchione. They wrote a book, Mob Cops. A very good book. It involves the Gambino family. And actually, not that I'm part of them, but it involves me. I know the stories. I know who they were related to. So I was actually a little bit part of that. I may even look into doing that. He was doing it with somebody. He was about to do it. They asked me to be an advisor to the show.
Yeah.
It never went off. If their contract didn't go through, so I wasn't an advisor in it. I may, if I go forward and make some of these movies, I may make their movie. So I've grown since then, and I may take it and put it in a position and do the movie myself with them. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sammy. Vita Exchange with a weekly envelope for you. No question, no comment.
Thank you, Vito.
Bill Curtis in the super chat. Thanks, my daughter Emma. Thank you for my daughter Emma's shout out last week. Go Sox.
Who's Emma? Is that the girl who just got married?
Was it her birthday?
It was her birthday.
Oh, it was her birthday.
Yeah.
Right. All right. You're welcome. Great shout out. Great daughter. I'm glad she enjoyed it.
Jonathan Samore in the super chat. With love and respect from Paris, France. Love you, brother Salvatore. Hello, motherfuckers.
Motherfucker to you too, bro. But listen, from France, it's a great call from France. Listen, wake up your people in France. I don't get that many calls from France. I'm surprised, but I love France. It's a beautiful country, and I'm surprised that I get calls from countries all over the world, as you know, and not that many from France. I don't know why, but so.
You look like a little French man today, Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
That's
Sailor, I love it. The little stripes, they look good.
Striped t-shirt.
Yeah, you got to show the pythons, Sam.
Yeah.
They look good.
Right. You can see the python?
Let me see. Give him a little taste.
Show them the gun.
Take him to the gun show.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
shoot. There it is. Hell yeah. John Carl in the super chat. Well, back in the mob, Sam, have you ever been told about Ronald DeFeo, and has he been associated with the mob in any way? Have you ever met him?
Ronald DeFeo?
I think that's the Amityville Horror family massacre guy. And there was rumors it was a mob hit, like he was involved in the mob.
I never heard of it.
Okay. Let's see. Just gonna filter through some chat, Sammy. El Gato, Padrino Salute. What is your opinion on losing time? Grazie. Losing time.
You mean losing time where I was in prison?
Yeah.
If that's what you're talking about. Time is priceless. When you go to prison, I lost 22 years of my life in prisons. You lose so many things. Family members, friends that pass away, or they become non-existent anymore because you're gone. Prison life, a lot of times you don't want to be in touch with people on the outside because it bothers you. It sounds strange, but in other words, I'm in prison. I want to live my prison life. I don't need memories of outside, and you know what I mean? It just makes you worse. It makes you melancholy. Mm-hmm. So prison life and outside life is two different lives. Prison is everything you lose is freedom. They'll tell you when to go to bed, when to get up, when to eat, when to take a shit. I mean, imagine it. It's just brutal as far as freedom. Freedom is so important. To get up in the morning, to go outside and take a walk with your dog, to go outside with your grandchild or your son or daughter and walk around a little bit. Freedom is, people don't realize what it is until you lose it. Prison teaches you that freedom, how important it is and how good it is for your life and the people around you. You can't help certain people you would want to help. So freedom is a big thing.
Thank you, Sammy. JB Weld, back in the super chat. Hey, JB. Do you ever think about the fact that you are part of world history? And how would old Sammy feel about that?
Old Sammy would be shocked because I was very private. Basically, my name blew up, but it blew up later on in life. And even the agents, when they would follow me and talk about me, I was private. I lived a life like you're supposed to. I think back now, talk about the Johnny Keys hit, and I think about what made me do that. I mean, I walked into a war that I had nothing to do with. I walked into a hit that 5 families and the family in Philadelphia couldn't get done. I got it. My crew didn't want me no part of it. They didn't want me to go. And I have this saying, what man's mind can conceive, man could achieve. I'm an overthinker. And I did that with this Mafia hit. You'll have to see the movie. I don't want to go too far with it, but I thought this was my hit, and I had to get it done. It was like a mission impossible, but I thought about it, and I thought of a way that I could get this done. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but and before I went on the last trip, I went there before I killed him. I thought, if my plan doesn't work, I'll die. And that's part of the life. And I just went ahead with it, full steam. I calculated every single move in it. He was surrounded by 20 or 30 guys. They were in a war. They didn't want to fight. They wanted to kill. And I walked right into it. And I pulled it off. So I can't go any further than that, because people who are working on it and stuff, they're going to take a shit fit with me. Mm-hmm. So...
Thank you, Sammy. Francisco is asking about, do you have any Charlie Wagon stories?
I know who you're talking about, and no, I really don't have any stories about him. I think he was a little bit before my time. I think he was friendly more with John Gotti and out there in Queens and people there, but I don't have much to do with him.
Thank you, Sammy. AR-15 aim point. Sammy, please explain how important loyalty is in a relationship. My soon-to-be ex-wife needs to understand this. I'm Sicilian 100%, and I have tried to explain it to her, but she just doesn't get it.
Bro, I mean, loyalty is everything.
Soon-to-be wife. Oh, soon-to-be wife.
Oh, soon-to-be wife.
That changes everything.
Yeah, that changes everything, is right. But, I mean, I know you want to show her loyalty. You're going to marry her. You must know her a while. Now, loyalty is not something you could pick up tomorrow morning at the bookstore. Loyalty is something that people have or don't have. There's a lot of signs in people who are not loyal or not trustworthy. And I hate to say this, but if she's not loyal, and you see that in a bunch of different ways, it doesn't get better. She won't become loyal. You'll get a divorce eventually. Don't marry her. And I don't give that kind of advice easily, but on a question like that, if she has to be loyal, she has to understand it. You can't teach somebody 1, 2, 3, and they change. They have to be loyal. Loyalty is shown in so many different ways. It's not what they do with you, it's what they do with other people. Maybe they have a mother or a father who's not well, and they go, they run, they take care of them. So many different things, whether it's a pet. You can see and feel people who are loyal. They're loyal to their country. They're loyal to their neighbors and friends. They're loyal in so many different ways. So there's a million ways you could see it, and there's a million ways you could see when somebody's not loyal. And me personally, when a person is not loyal, I don't want to go in business with them. There's a lot, I don't hate them, but there's a lot of things I don't want to do with them, because I'm always questioning in my mind, what does he think or she? What do they think? Are they looking for this? I don't know. Are they loyal to me? Are they not loyal to me? And in the mafia, loyalty is everything. So to me, even now, when I'm dealing with people, these girls, these women sitting right here, Anna, Amina, people, around me, they're loyal. And there's so many ways you can see it. I mean, they get it days, they go home, I didn't feel good. Who'll call back? Who'll come back? Who'll cook for me? Who'll do this for me? There's little things that you can see those signs. They don't have to be your slave, but you'll see loyalty. It sticks out, and you'll see people who are not loyal. That sticks out as well. So you got to make up your own mind. what she is or what, and her too. If she's not going to be the right person, she don't want you either, because it'll only end in a horrible way. Why waste time?
Yeah. Amen, Sammy. Amen. Thank you. Goomba in the super chat. Bro, asking your permission to be Anna's man. You have your women on here, and Anna needs some love too. Ha ha. Love you, brother, and you're beautiful, Anna.
No, you can't be dating my women.
I work too much. I'm sorry. I work too much today, guys.
Yeah,
Sorry.
she's got to talk for herself. She's a grown woman. She'll talk for herself. But if she goes on a date with you, she's fired.
Elgato in the super chat. How do you cope? Yeah, that's what he was saying. How do you cope with lost time? What's your best advice? Grazie. Yeah.
How do you deal with lost time?
How do you cope? Like, how do you get through it knowing you lost so many years? How do you stay so positive?
I tell everybody. I tell black people. I tell a lot of people, Spanish people, a lot of people. Whatever happened in your life, whatever went wrong, that's behind you. If you stay in there looking at it, playing with it, fucking with it, you're never going to go forward. Whatever happened, happened. You got burnt, you got screwed. Whatever the situation is, get over it and go forward with your life. Don't look in the rearview mirror. You're going to be looking in the past all the time. Go forward. I hear racism stories. Fuck what happened 100 years ago. It's a different time, different people. Most of those people don't even know what the hell racism is. So go forward with your life. Now, there's going to be people who don't like you, no matter what race or nationality or religion you are. So just fucking blow that on the side. Go forward. This country, we have a lot of opportunities. It's falling apart now, but it's got a lot of opportunities. I got out of prison. I didn't know what the fuck to do. Almost 18 years in prison straight. The phones didn't exist. YouTube didn't exist. A lot of these things, I didn't even know what they were. And I went forward, and I'm going ahead. I'm making movies. I'm doing things. You don't have to do movies. You can do, there's businesses you could open, go to work, do things. There's job opportunities all over the place. And meet somebody like this other guy was just saying, is you can love and trust and maybe have kids, or they have kids already. Enjoy life. Well, that's what it's about. Enjoy life. Don't dwell on what happened in the past. That's lost time, and if it wasn't good, put it out of your head. It's gone. Go forward.
Heck yeah, I love it. Betty Ann Tavano in the super chat. I'm going to read half of this and leave the other half to your imagination, because we're a family-friendly show. Sammy, 6 hearts. And then I'll skip to the end. XXX, kiss, kiss, kiss. Thank you, Betty Ann. That's a very generous envelope. We love you over here. You know that, girl.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And, somebody sent me this little bracelet I have on.
Ooh.
And I wear it because I just put it on today. I just got it.
It's a nice one.
I'm not going to say who gave it to me. Thank you, Betty Ann. So
Grazie.
it says in the box, in other words, if somebody says, why are you wearing that? And it says in the box, because I fucking can. Like the Peaky Blinders. So because I fucking can. And that's why I'm wearing it. So I like the saying in there, and I put it on.
Jonathan Samore in the super chat. France is beautiful, but the people have no balls anymore here. Any restaurant to suggest to me in New York City, as I expect to be coming soon. In Little Italy, please, and not a steakhouse. Laugh out loud. He's laughing.
Yeah. Well, I forgot the name of. There's a few of them in Mulberry Street in Little Italy. There's some great restaurants. It's almost like you can't miss. They have so many good restaurants. If you don't know, if you could open up a restaurant, if you're not great, you'll be out of business in a week. Because all your competition have great ones. I forgot the name of the place. Mary's? Something like that. Presidents, all kinds of very important people ate there. We used to eat there every so often. We didn't go there as much because there were so many tourists who ate in that place. And there's restaurants all over the place are all pretty good, very good. And I don't remember which one is better. I don't remember the names. It's been a long time. When I went to prison in 1990. And that was the last time I saw New York. So 90, 2010, 20, 30-something years ago. I don't even know if some of these places are around anymore. But there's all good places there because the competition is so strong. So enjoy it. Enjoy your trip. And, years ago when I was in the Army, I went on furlough and I met a French girl. Young girl, and she had that French accent. Drove me wild, bro. I don't know why the French don't like me. They're not jumping on me, but I love French people. I love that accent. I love France. I'm into building and construction, so the construction there, the design of the buildings and all of those towers and the stuff they build, they're magnificent. The French people are some of the best chefs in the world. It's known. They're known for that. I particularly don't like French food, and I'll tell you why. I love all food. They favor sweet food, like meat and stuff, and it's sweet. I'm not crazy about sweet food. I don't like hot food, spicy food, or sweet food. Like I'll eat sweets, but it's like a cake or something like that. Not in my meal. So I ate it. The lamb chops I had with them, and I'm not crazy about lamb chops, but they did a job, and the French restaurant was great. But it was a little sweet. And the guy says, that's what we put in the sauce, and that's our style. All right, that's your style. Hispanic people put a little bit of spice in it. Everybody's got a different flavor. But I like most foods. And they do have great food. And that's about it.
That's all she wrote. Hey, you in the super chat with a very generous envelope for you, Sammy. Sammy, how would John Gotti react if he were alive to the fact that you are more popular than he ever was now? Could his pride handle it? Also, I love the sit down with Michael Francis. It was well worth it.
Thank you. I enjoyed the thing with Michael Francis. We became closer friends now. It was great. As far as John Gotti would have probably killed me by now, no. Listen, I really believe that this is, John Gotti wanted to be an actor or very, very famous more than being a gangster. I really believe that in my heart. Because when he got into power, the way he dressed, the things he did, was so against what we're supposed to do. We're low-key. We don't exist. We're non-existent. And he pushed it out there every 2 seconds. When you look back and you get all the tapes and the informants, and all the bosses wanted to kill him. They hated what he was doing. Mm-hmm. So like these guys who say, yeah, he was a real boss, I dressed like him. They don't know the life. The life is not that. So I got another guy, he's an imbecile. He talks about him, like I dress like him. I'm the baby. He doesn't even you don't even understand the life. Mm-hmm. The life is to be non-existent. Mix in the neighborhood, quiet. The agents made a statement about me, the Frank and Matty. They said, I love following Sammy. We used to go by his office. He'd come out, sneakers, jeans, a T-shirt, and he'd play handball with neighborhood kids. That's not an underboss. A normal underboss is not doing that to them. But to me, I'm part of the neighborhood. I don't want to stick out. I don't want people bowing down to me when I walk. A lot of restaurants, it's hard for me to name some restaurants because the neighborhood restaurants I went when I was broke and I was a nobody, when I became more powerful and wealthy, I went to those same restaurants. I never changed. So they were good enough for me when I was broke. They were good enough for me when I had money. So we used to go hunting. Sometimes we would give the guy a deer. He would butcher it, make deer stew. That's my cup of tea. I don't, just because I become big or I got money, I'm not crazy about going Manhattan to a fancy joint. You know, are you going to take your wife or you're going to take a date or wherever they're coming from France, so they want a great place to go to. You're on vacation. But me, I wasn't on vacation. I went to the same places. I went to the fancy ones too because I went with John. I had to go. So.
Thank you, Sammy. We got a couple minutes left. Let's hit some more super chats. JB Weld, I'm sorry if this is too personal, Sam, but did your parents or your sisters ever realize who you were in the life before the arrest?
My mother and father, no, never. They knew that, you know, they thought I was like hooked up with the mob because there was a lot of talk before they died, but they didn't know. Both of my sisters knew I was in the mob. My oldest sister, Jeannie, knew one time she lost her husband. He passed away, and then she was going to date a cop. And she sent word through my brother-in-law Eddie. She knew I wouldn't like that. So I said, listen, it's your life. Live your life. If you love him, it's a cop, go ahead. No problem. And I can't come to certain functions because his friends, his family, there'll be all kinds of cops there. I can't mingle in like that. She understood that. And I said, but stay in touch with me through Eddie. And if anybody bothers you, you're my sister. I'll be there. So that was with her. She passed away. She had COPD and then died. Then my younger sister, Franny, who was 5 years older than me, Eddie's wife, she knew. When I cooperated, we argued, we split. And because she thought she was a fucking gangster. And we split. We didn't talk for a long time. And then she got sick. And my daughter actually put it together. She said, Dad, she's sick. She's dying. She's your sister. Talk to her. And I did talk to her on the phone before she died. And then when she died, I sent the wreath. I didn't go to the wake. I didn't, once you went against me, I don't give a fuck if you're my sister, brother, mother, sister. I don't care who you are. Once you go against me, I don't love you no more. So, and she died. And that's about it as far as family. I got nieces and nephews that I know and love and care about. Some of them, not all of them.
Thank you, Sammy. We're going to wrap up, but let's give one more shout out to Julius Caesar, Sammy. Yo, Sammy, can I please get a shout out from Toronto?
Hey, Julius Caesar from Toronto. Glad to have you on. Hey, how's the fires over there? The whole country seems like it's burning over there. I saw it when my daughter sent me pictures, the cloud of smoke that was coming in over New York and New Jersey. The pictures were orange. It looked like it was Mars. I never see anything like that. I hope that the fires are ducked out and stuff like that. You know what I love? Let me make a statement here. These fucking guys, these bums, they don't do logging and they don't do certain things anymore. When it happened in California as well. And the governors of Arizona and your president turns around and it's global warming. Yeah, fucking ass, it's a fire, bro. And it's because you take tax money and you didn't do what you're supposed to do. Let them log. Let them clean the underbrush like they've been doing for years. But you stopped them years ago. And not just him, but in California. Then when there's a fire, you don't want to take the weight. So it's global warming. wasn't even, it could be an accident, could be somebody started the fire, but the brush in there is so thick, never cleaned out, never taken care of, and that's what you wind up with. And then this jerk-off will get up. That's right, your president, jerk-off, will get up and blame global warming. And you guys vote him in. Think about that, bro. Think about him and his fucking global warming. Burn his fucking house down. See if his house is, you could blame, no, global warming did it. So.
That's awesome.
But I hope it's good for you and your family over there. I hope it's, cleared up.
Amen. Mad Cool with a weekly envelope. No comment, no question.
Matt Cool, that's about as cool as you can get to do that.
Cool as a fan.
All right, listen, they're going like this to me. You know what that means? It's adios, motherfuckers.